Welcome to Exploring the Mystical Side of Life with your host, Linda Lang.
Hi, everyone. It is Linda here from thoughtchange.com and your host of Exploring the Mystical Side of Life. This year, we started the year off with an episode on how to tap into your internal guidance system, how to master it, and how to really live your life by that. It's so important. It's so important for each one of us and also for us as a collective that the more of us pay attention to our guidance system, the greater and more positive change we make for the whole. So today I invited my guest, Zen Cryer-DeBrook, back to have a chat with us. Zen is the founder of the Smart Soul Academy, and she has found a way to tap in. She's discovered something she calls Heaven's Gate that is within each one of us, and that guides us to our most successful, our happiest, and our best life possible. So that's what we're talking about today. Welcome, Zen.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate being here. From the time that we first really connected on the podcast, like I think it was over a year or two ago, we just had this really good synergy, and I'm just excited to be here talking to you about this. You're so intelligent, and it's really fun to geek out on this stuff with you.
Perfect. It's perfect. I love the idea of Heaven's Gate.
It's actually Heaven's compass. It's okay. It works like a compass inside of our bodies.
I think I call it a gate because it's an opening to a whole new world, really. So it's just a little thought change I'll need to do inside my own brain.
Yeah, that's okay. So in working with the internal guidance system, and if you're interested in that today, please go back. It's on her pages and things. Look for the podcast because we really go into that in depth. But I've worked with over 40,000 people. I've been doing this since 2006. And what I've been sharing with them and teaching is that we have an internal guidance system that each and every one of us was born with. And anytime you feel stress, which I have broken down into worry, fear, anxiety, overwhelm, frustration, to just name a few, there's more to that list. You will see that it will show up in your body. It'll show up like a lump in the throat, a tightness in the chest, or a sick feeling in our solar plex area. And so I've been working with this because you can release it. Those feelings and sensations, stress itself, fear itself, is coming from your thinking, not the outside world. And I've taught people to pivot their thinking, shift their thinking to get this to release instantly. We call it an opening. And here's the thing that I'm kind of coming out with now after all of the research I've done and all the people I've worked with. This is really like a heaven's compass. The expansion and contraction in your body, when you feel a release and you're expanded, you're moving your thoughts into a place where you're going to have success. But what people are reporting over and over is that they become in love with their life, that they release all of the things that cause suffering, that their relationships become deep and intimate, that they have the wealth, they step into the career that they want, their body becomes healthy, their mind becomes healthy. And around them, they're creating their own mini version of heaven, whatever it is that's unique to them. And I think this is incredibly exciting because it's been a long time and a lot of people, and I'm watching this miracle happen over and over and over again in people's lives by using their internal guidance system.
So beautiful. And I love that it's like instantaneous, really. You can get your guidance on the run, when you need to make those decisions in the moment. Your guidance system is there waiting for you to listen to it, right?
Yeah, it's always operating. That's the thing, is every thought you have, it gives you an open, closed, or a neutral sensation. It is truly like a compass. And you're only a few opening thoughts away from being back on what I call your life's blueprint. I believe that before we get here, we co-construct what we want to do here. And we do this with God, with whatever universe, with whatever you are attuned to that feels right for you, that there's a collaboration happening. And then we get down here and it's super distracting There's parental issues and sibling issues and problems in school between the ages of 0 and 7. Most of our programming happens, and we get distracted. We get distracted by the should, have tos, need tos, and musts of the world. And it makes it really hard to stay tuned into that blueprint. And so it's so exciting because I have decoded what I believe is the tool that we were given to help keep us on track. It's just that things have gotten so loud in our world over the last 150 years that we can't tune into this gut and instinct that we have naturally as easily as we used to. And so now that we've got this practice that I teach, it's so easy for us to drop in and it's like playing the hot cold game, Linda. You get blindfolded and you're like looking for an object and everybody's yelling at you, hot, hot, no, you're getting cold, frigid, super, oh, lukewarm, warm. Now you're back in hot, hot, Sierra, you got it. That's kind of what the IGS, internal guidance system, I call it IGS, is doing for us, is as we're thinking, we get a closed sensation. That's cold, stay away from that thought. You're not going in the right direction. And then as we pivot and move our thinking into a new place, then it starts opening and it starts giving us a light expansion, moving into even a higher expansion in the body, depending on how true that thought is in alignment with your blueprint. And our blueprint is our heaven. Our blueprint is the thing that we came here to do, the gifts we came to contribute. It's the most important reason we're here. And some of it is clearing up our stuff in this lifetime with other people and things like that, and going through lessons. And some of it is just the glory of being able to express our beautiful gifts that are really needed on the planet right now, and things we need to be focused on giving.
And let's say going through your stuff in the easiest, most effective and efficient way possible, right?
Yeah, it's not painful when you use your internal guidance system. You see it as a gift. I call it polishing your mirror. And I explain all of this in the Heavens Compass Masterclass, but we each have a reflection of who we are in the world. And when we have a reflection, somebody comes in, triggers us, we get all upset. If we don't know how to use the IGS, we can dwell in that for days, months, years, bitterness, fear, resentment, be feeling unloved, disrespected, abandoned, right? And then we go to our defense, being a people pleaser or avoidance or disassociation or addictions. When you have your IGS, that doesn't happen, because in that moment that mirror is being presented to you with something that's triggering, the triggering is closing and you know it. And so you stop and you look at what you're thinking, and there's practices, simple little practices, instantaneous, like I know what to do here. And you move into the new thinking and you find it and you feel the opening, and now you're back on track. And that issue that you had, that growth that you're in, becomes exciting because you now know that you are not only dealing with something, but moving through it to where you'll complete with it.
So the power is in the witnessing and then the choosing, rather than having the thoughts take over and spiral you down.
Yeah, and it is choosing, but choosing is more of the mind, I would say. I think it's important for you to find the thought. And that's the hard part, really. The IGS is easy, but finding the thought that opens you, that takes these practices that I've developed, over the last, I don't even want to say how many years, but once you find that, you feel, instead of choose, you feel in an unshakable way the right path. It's an experience. It's a discernment. It's a wisdom. It's like, oh, there it is, right? And then your mind is going to still try to go back to the old programming. And that's where it's like trying to push you back. And you feel the closing, because those old thoughts aren't true for you anymore. You know it. And you just shift your thinking back to feeling, this is it. And then you do that over and over throughout your lifetime. You just move from opening to opening to opening, using these practices and their how-tos, and you have them. You just automatically start to do it in a very short period of time.
So then, how is this different from, say, using muscle testing or a pendulum or some other way to get a yes or no?
That's a really great question. This is not a yes or no. The opening is not a yes. The closing is not a no. And the neutral is not, I don't feel it. That's what most people do. And the most important thing is that because of the program that happens between the ages of 0 and 7, we are in a mental box. We are limited by our creativity and what we think. Most of our mind is actually a program that auto runs on us. That's why you can be doing great, be bopping down the road and all your life's great. And then wham, an email comes in or a text message or a person, does something, or there's a situation that you see on the news, and we are thrown into this experience that we're really carried along with and don't have any control over. When you sit down and you try to figure out an answer, should I move to New York or LA? And those are your two choices, but you're really meant to be in Minnesota. Don't freak out, everybody. That Minnesota, that doesn't mean you won't be happy. It's just those other two places aren't on your blueprint. And maybe the love of your life is in Minnesota, and the training that you need is in Minnesota. Everything you need is there, but it's not in your mind. So how can your IGS give you guidance? So if you're trying to find yes to New York or yes to LA and a yes or no, you're in a box. You're in a mental box. And what ends up happening is you can't get the answers. But all throughout your day, when you follow your IGS, what will happen is this magic and synchronicity begins to occur to get you to where you need to be. And that can look like sitting in the doctor's office and looking over, and there's a magazine that says Minnesota, the place to be. That loud, by the way, that message, like Minnesota, the place to be, and you pick it up. Or your friend invites you to something, a festival or something, or you have a reason, a business trip, and you get there and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel really good here. I want to check this out more. And the next thing you know, you can't get it out of your mind because there's a feeling in the body, and you end up in Minnesota, and your life writes itself and begins to flourish beyond. And it doesn't mean you're not going to end up in LA or New York. If, let's say, you've got a reason to be there, it just means that there's a different path that you need to take to pick up things along the way to continue back. And those are the things that you don't know. And so if you're looking for your mind to give you answers, it doesn't have it. But your IGS can teach your mind how to move forward in a very instinctive way. And it's different than intuitive. It's more of a gut instinct that you feel that keeps you on your blueprint. And the closings are when you're getting off in the weeds, and then you just bring yourself back to your path by doing the practices in the Heaven's Compass program and shifting them back.
And so this is really for the next step, your next action, as compared to the big picture of your life, right?
Yeah. And actually, one of the coolest things, this is an operating system. Our mind is an operating system, right? It runs in a particular way. So is this internal guidance system we have is another operating system, and it's not relying on the limited mind that we have, right? And so what happens is that the next, you stop having to figure out what you need to do, because how you need to be and where you need to move next, any actions, they come from this energy that pulls you forward to the next right thing and the next right thing. And so the thinking quiets down, and there's a divine presence. There's a thing that's living through you that is producing incredible fruit. It says in the Bible, you'll know the tree by the fruit, whether the fruit be good. The tree is good, the fruit is good. The tree is evil, the fruit is evil, right? The thing about this is the fruit of your life becomes good. It becomes nourishing. It becomes, it creates change in a positive. That's why I think if we get connected to our Heaven's Compass and create our own personal heaven, we can't not be contributing to recreating heaven on earth. We're in alignment. And this, I believe, is the next step in our human evolution, is to use this tool to come back together, not only to realign with what's happening in nature and Mother Earth, but with each other, and how to create a world that we really, truly want. Because we've been using this for a long time. It's not working. It's not working. But when you use this, it works. It works. And it's often not what your mind thinks you would need to do. It's really interesting I think one of the best things about this is it's so interesting. You learn so much about yourself, and you're like, I'm closing to that. Like, I'll give you an example. I once I was a CEO, and I had this big event, and I was exhausted, and I had to go get dressed up, like, in a really nice outfit, gown even, I think. I'm coming home, and I didn't want to go. And I was thinking, I don't want to go to this thing tonight. And I closed. Closing means what you're thinking is not true. You're in the weeds. You're off your path. And I'm like, I do want to go. And my body eased. And I was like, I don't want to go. Like, I want to sit home and eat ice cream and have a glass of wine and watch Star Trek. This was back in the late 90s. Closed. I got dressed up. I was grumbling about it because my mind was not in alignment. But my opening was there. And I got there, I had the best time, I made the best contacts. I was so reinvigorated in my life. It was the conversations that I needed to have. It was wonderful. And I was so grateful that I went. I probably would have backed out because of how my mind was leading me if I hadn't had this. And you'll see this over and over again until you get to a place where you've cleared out all those closing thoughts, lots of them go, and then you're just living from this present place of what's right for you and your thinking today. It's a mindset change that's personalized to you, is what it creates.
That is such a beautiful story about how the mind can lead you astray.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Zen, you mentioned you have a master class. Tell us a little bit about that and how we can learn more about how to master these openings and closings so we can start that path of alignment.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I created a webinar. It's called Heaven's Compass Introduction. And for your listeners and for people that are watching, the link will be in your thing below, in the description below, I believe, right? Is that where you're going to put it?
Yeah, I'll pop it in the comments below.
Okay, good. So in this masterclass, number one, I explain where does this information come from. Two, we actually give you an experience. I give you an experience. You go through feeling your internal guidance system. Okay. And then I discuss some of the distinctions that are really important for you to know. And then we start you on your heaven's path. And what I mean by that is we start using the expansion and contraction in relationship to what your desires are, and showing you how to get a bigger expanded feeling, a bigger opening by moving you, because most people either they don't know what they want or they want something, and there's anxiety, there's all kinds of issues with desire. So we're going to clear those out, and I'm going to show you how to get back on your blueprint and see what's in the blueprint for you by doing this exercise. And then I also share with you the first exercise, because the most important thing is your mind doesn't know that this exists. It thinks that it's stress. It thinks it's suffering. And there's an exercise that you can do for 2 or 3 days. And it's super simple. It's not hard. You just take it. You have a new thought. You just take 2 days and have a new thought when stress arises. And you'll start to see 50% or more of your stress reduced, as well as you'll begin to connect the brain to your internal guidance system. So they're working together. You start feeling and seeing this immediately working together. So then what I'll invite your people to the Heaven's Compass Masterclass. In that masterclass, what we're doing is we are creating your life's blueprint, looking within and pulling it out during the class. We're taking out any old programming that limits what you think you can have, and we're expanding to what is true. We're looking at your gifts and how they apply in your life that lead to your purpose. And then we set you into flow. And this is a 6-module program. And we set you into flow, meaning that experience that I told you where you are moving from perfect next right thing, next right thing, not using this, but feeling throughout your day, right? We get you going on that so that you can stay out of the weeds and on your blueprint. So that's what the masterclass is about. But I'd like to get people into the Heaven's Compass introduction and get them going right away. And the masterclass doesn't start until May 9th, but I have tools that you can begin using right now for free that will get you seeing if this is the right move for you in your life.
Beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait. Thank you so much, Sam. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today before we wrap up?
Yes. No matter what you are going through, no matter what it is, you are only a few opening thoughts. And by few, I literally mean 3 or 4 opening thoughts away from that beginning to shift in your life. I've seen miraculous things happen. Marriages come back together, careers turn around, new jobs happen, health crisis is resolved very quickly. Because once you start on that blueprint path, everything begins to align itself. Whether your life is magnificent already and you want more of that, or whether you're really going, I don't know how to make it. I can't figure out how to get it out of where I'm at. I'm stuck. This internal guidance system that you have works, and it works fast.
Beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thanks for having me, Linda. It's great to be here.
Okay, bye, everyone.